I remember, for instance, the editor of the journal that published this study on the mice and the infertility. He said to a professor that they had to send this manuscript out twice to their referees, to the scientists that should look at it and read at it and either say no or yes to the study, because he got so very insecure of the first round of referees. So he sent it out to a next round, and that is called a double refereeing. And it could be interesting to the viewers to remember that a number of Nobel Prize winning findings, they have gone through that kind of double refereeing, because initially people didn't believe it. It was too sensational. So I understand that this editor of this journal, he didn't really believe it. He was afraid, could it really be so? But after the second round, he had to publish the paper because he couldn't see that the authors, the scientists, had done something wrong in their experiments. The results were firm, you know. And as I say, we could continue like this and picking pieces that connect to each other. And again, if you, for instance, look in, you raise your view here, the big problem, like in Europe nowadays and in Sweden and so forth, is that the number of babies being born is going down. The explanation being, and I could quote, for instance, the health minister in Italy. He said that the reason for the reduction in the number of babies in Italy is because women, they don't want to stay at home, they want to have a career, and the babies are in jeopardy with the career ideas, you know, so they don't want to have any more babies. Maybe so. That's very interesting, of course, as such. But again, when you look on data from animal experimentation, you get the sort of feeling that something else is going on here, and there are constant reports about reductions in various animal species, reductions in bird populations, in bee populations, other insect populations, so on. Maybe it's just a coincidence, pure chance, whatever, but I would like to investigate that, and therefore I have sort of pinpointed some crucial experiments which could lie a foundation for further discussion. And I think that some of the reports I mentioned, for instance, reduction in sperm cell quality, let someone repeat it, replicate the study to see is that true or not. And I have suggested, because the Karolinska Institute is a reference organ for like the World Health Organization, maybe we could do it here. We have everything. We have the know-how, we have the groups, we have the sperm cells, whatever, you know, and the only thing we lack is the funding to do these crucial experiments.
How much would you need to do what you, if I say, what would you need if you want to do all you want to do?
Okay.
How many millions would you need?
That's of course very hard to answer, but let's say like this. If everything would go perfectly well, there would be no problems and nothing like that. Maybe we would have to work for like 3, 4, 5 years. Each year meaning maybe a consumption of somewhere between 3 and 10 million Swedish crowns, somewhere in that order. But that's just a very gross ballpark figure, you know. But it's a very good question you put out, because, I mean, if we have this, and then we have the table here, maybe the viewers cannot see that, but if we should build a bridge between them, we have to build the entire bridge. We cannot stop somewhere here, because then there isn't a bridge. Then you cannot use it, you know. You cannot stop here. It's still not a bridge. You have to build the entire bridge. And therefore, if you look, for instance, in the Benevento resolution, that's another main point, that full funding should be given, and to truly independent groups that are not in any way connected to industry or other interests within the field, and that are completely free of such connections or ties to private industry, and also that it should be based on the kind of crucial questions. We talk about, like, you have a balloon, and it contains a lot of air. It's very nice to look at, but it just takes a small needle to prick it, and it will explode. And that kind of needle type experiments we would like to do, either to say, oh, the balloon didn't contain anything, you don't have to worry, it is safe. We could really say that, Or, oh, look here, the balloon contained a dangerous phenomenon, or dangerous knowledge. We have to think really much about that. And of course, we would then give the knowledge, as we have done many times, to governments, to parliaments, to the kind of people in charge of the authorities, and say, hey, this is what we have found. Now it's up to you to change something. And I often get the question, but I mean, we cannot take away, for instance, mobile phones. Then the world would collapse. And that's just nonsense, of course, If I would do like this now, and all the mobile phones would disappear, and all the mobile phone masts, that wouldn't mean anything really. I mean, people would start to talk with each other. They would describe how they couldn't find their mobile phone. It's just gone, And other people would say the same. Oh, my mobile is also gone. I cannot find it any longer. It's so strange, But I mean, the need for communication would still be there. So that wouldn't change anything. So it's not a life necessity in any way,
Actually, I think when you say that, it's I normally say to people that they have lost their inner contact with themselves, and therefore they have to talk and talk and talk on the mobile phone. But actually, when you talk about building a bridge, we are very good in Denmark and Sweden to build big bridges,
But just to think about, if we had stopped 1 meter before coming to Sweden, to Malmö, then there wouldn't have been a bridge. Just 1 meter would have constantly made it a non-bridge. And that's what I and other scientists mean, that we talk about a very, very important question for the general public. And they have the right to know. They have the right to know the answer to all the safety issues that they are pulling out, And therefore we need to build a complete bridge. And again, I say it doesn't have to take very much effort or money or whatever, and we don't have to replicate everything. We just have to take out some of the crucial questions to see what's going on. Is this a health hazard, or even a hazard to the entire biology, or not? And I'm fully aware of that people, they like their gadgets, they have very much fun with their telephones, they watch television on these small screens and so on. And if they want to do that, that's fine. But my role, which is also clearly documented in the policy declaration of the Karolinska Institute, is to take care of issues regarding health. And I want just to investigate that. And as I said before, we unfortunately cannot do it, which we're of course sorry.